So what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about tips and tricks for beginning photographers. So tip number 1, composition and framing. So we all know the feeling when you buy a new camera. You want to go outside, you want to shoot everything. You may not care how the photo looks just as long as you capture something. Now sometimes using this method you will get a few good photos, but you'll have more quantity instead of quality. And we call this method spraying and praying. Now what you really want to do is just take your time, compose your image, use the grid lines in your camera to help you out, and then take a photo. By being patient and really thinking about your photos and how you want to capture them, I assure you that you will get more quality than quantity. Now tip number 2 is lighting. No matter where you at, inside or outside, lighting is always important to help capture your image. Now me personally, when I'm outside, I like to backlit my subject. I do this by looking at the position of the sun. Then what I like to do is, I like to have my subject facing towards me with the sun not really hitting them in the back but more off to the right side. I like to have the sunset light hit them as a headlight or an edge light or a rim light. By doing this really helps separate your subject from the background, and it will also cause like a halo effect as well. Tip number 3, using the environment. Now this is especially important when it comes to storytelling. It doesn't matter if you're in downtown Detroit or the surrounding suburbs. Showing people the environment you're in will help submerge them into your content. You may see this on Instagram where you have photographers taking photos of someone downtown or on a landscape photo, and what that does is that helps give contrast to that image by showing how small your subject is to the surrounding environment. Tip number 4, focal lengths. Now as a portrait photographer, I like to use a 50mm focal length and an 85mm focal length. Yes, these focal lengths may be attached to some guidelines, but really it's all personal preference. For example, the 35mm focal length is perfect for portraits, but I like to use it for landscape and most of my video shooting. I didn't pick up my 35mm until recently for portraits when I was shooting downtown and I wanted to help get some of the environment to help tell my story. This lens is also perfect for shooting couples. Now if you're looking to catch landscapes, a 16mm all the way through a 35mm is a preferred focal length for capturing landscapes. Tip number 5, shoot raw unless you're shooting with a Fujifilm camera or you're shooting with film stock. Shooting raw will help give you the most dynamic range and color information in your photos. This is how most photographers on Instagram and YouTube create their signature look. This is how you can spot a photographer without having to look at their page. You can see their work and you know exactly who shot that photo. Now me personally, I shoot all my images in RAW, but I do have JPEG backups as well, and all my thumbnails are actually JPEG. Now if you're using a Fujifilm camera, then you have access to Fuji film simulations, which are based off Hollywood film stock that they made for Hollywood movies back when everything was still shot on film. Now another amazing fact is that you can actually go in and dial in your own personal settings to create your own signature look straight in camera before you ever go to post. Now if you're not shooting with a Fuji camera but you're shooting with film stock, then film stock have such an amazing and angelic characteristic to it. When you shoot film and you have it developed, everything look magical. Everything is not super contrast. It seems like all the blacks and shadows are lifted, but that do depend on what film stock you are shooting on. To be honest, shooting film has such a look that it's actually hard to replicate with digital cameras, mirrorless cameras, or even Photoshop and Lightroom. But Fuji film cameras are the closest thing you can get to shooting film cameras without having to worry about buying film stock. Now, there are 2 channels I recommend that you check out for film stock photography: Sidney Green and Vulhandes. And if you are a Fuji shooter but looking to get into more Fuji recipes, then you should check out FujiWeekly.com. Tip number 6, props. You can use something like this prism right here, which will really help give your photos an interesting look. Or you can use your phone to catch reflections off the light source that you are using to actually light your models. Either way, you will get an amazing photo. And you can use other props like trees, branches, leaves, anything you can throw in front of your lens that really help create an interesting look straight out of camera. So here's a bonus tip. Tip number 7, learn, practice, repeat. No matter what field you are in, you should always continue to learn. Keep educating yourself. and then you should go out and practice what you learn. And then if you fail, you can go learn again, go practice again, and either fail again or succeed. And you should always want to repeat this process, because the moment that we keep up with consistency is the moment that we start growing and we start getting better as photographers or videographers. And this last tip is actually universal, no matter what field you choose to become involved in. So thank you to everybody who checked out this video. Thank you to everybody who stayed to the end. And if you like this look, you want to know what I'm shooting, I'm actually shooting everything in the Eternal profile right now, and I got everything turned down to its lowest setting. That way I have a little bit more control in post. I chose to start shooting in Eternal instead of F-Log to help speed up my workflow when I'm shooting my YouTube videos. But before you guys go, what I want you to do is smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new content. Hope you have a good day. Peace.